Welcome to Blackhawks Insider, the official podcast of the Chicago Blackhawks, presented by ChevyDriveChicago.com. I'm Carter Baum, and coming up on today's episode, we're changing things up. We have a lengthy sit-down with Alex Stalock that Chris Vosters and Caley Chelios took part of the other day in Buffalo before the team's game against the Sabres. We're going to present that to you in length today. It's such a great convo with Alex on his rebound from injury, what it's like to be the starter for the last few games, and much more, plus a little special food contest between the two of them. And then later in the show, we're going to bring you, as always, line changes with our good friend Joe Brand from WGN Radio, taking you through the latest bets in the betting world. All that and more coming up right now on Blackhawks Insider, presented by ChevyDriveChicago.com. Drive what King and Tapes drive.
Alex, it is great to have you on the latest episode of the Blackhawks Insider podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. From a broadcast perspective up in the booth, it's been a lot of fun to watch you and the team play here to start the season. How much fun are you having right now?
A ton. I think as a group, too, we were fortunate to go out west early in the year as a group and be with each other on the road. I think that goes a long way. We got a huge win in San Jose and had a team day the following day. And just something as little as that and how little it seems to go out and enjoy each other. You go through a rigorous training camp. Then you hit the road right away to a tough schedule. You open, you raise the banner in Colorado, obviously a special night for Jack. But that's a long night, a lot of sitting around. Then you go into a tough environment in Vegas. And then we go and win a game in San Jose on the road and get to celebrate the next day. And I think the boys had fun, and it goes a long way. And this group really enjoying it right now.
So it's tough because your buddy, Peter Mrazek, gets injured early, but how has it been getting to know him? And then also with his injury, you're the full-time number one guy right now in net. How's that going for you?
Right, you never hope for injury in any position. And obviously it's unfortunate. Like I said, you go through a training camp where, you're competing every day. You're on the ice, for probably longer than normal. You're up in the gym a lot. You're doing a lot of testing off the ice. And then you run right into the season, and unfortunate for him, it was just, a bad deal, or, he feels something in his leg and takes a little time off. But, he's been around the game a while. He knows how to treat his body. He knows what the right thing to do is. And, he's been a great teammate. He's been there every game, giving you a high five after a win, when you go out for a period, whatever it may be. And, it's been awesome. He's been great to me. We've never crossed roads in our careers, and play against each other several times, but to get to play with him it's a blessing.
So I've heard and actually seen a little bit of your post-game locker room speeches following wins, and Tyler Johnson has mentioned just how fun the locker room is and how much fun the team is to be around right now, and you play a big part of that. Sounds like everyone gets a kick out of your post-game speeches, especially after a win, and a couple of times you've gotten the championship belt for being the team MVP. How would you assess your post-game speeches?
Well, it's hard. You only get 10 seconds, and you can go around the room and say something about each guy. Whether it's a talent or what, I feel like you can go, and you can go to every stall and say something, whether it's funny or they did something great that night or whatever happened. And you get a short window to say something brief, and you get put right on the spot, because going through your head, like, man, this guy had a great game, and you should be the guy that gets the belt. And all of a sudden it's in your lap, and you gotta say something quick, and a lot of times it's probably pretty stupid, to be honest. But, whatever it takes. We talked about the other night. Like, we just keep winning. It's simple. Yeah. We love having fun. We might as well win, right? And that's something. Obviously, it's in the hockey culture that you give away a player of the game, and unfortunately, it's one guy or whatever, But everybody celebrates together at the end of the day, and this group is. We have good vibes going through the room right now, that's for sure, and we're liking where we're headed.
Everybody smiles when they talk about your goaltending play, how aggressive you are. You're kind of a wild man for us in the booth in the best way, like old school, fun. Like, where does that all come from?
I would say everybody smiles. People that watch the game next to my mom and dad, and I don't think they're
on the edge of their seats.
Yeah, I don't think they're smiling a lot. I don't know if my family's smiling and friends and all that, but yeah, it's that's how I've always played. I just have fun playing the game. And when I'm playing my best or when I'm feeling my best, it's generally I'm just having fun. And, I think that's where I check myself sometimes when, you're going through tough stretches or whatever it may be, I can ask myself, are you having fun? And it's a simple answer, and usually you got to kind of flip a switch and reset and go back to the rink with a smile on your face, because we're really fortunate to get what we do. And you go to the rink and put on hockey gear and be kids and screw around, and like you say, in the locker room, laugh. It's like, and pinch yourself if you show up to the rink and you're not having fun. So that's number one goal every day is to come to the rink and have fun.
I read your dream is to score an NHL goal. What's the ideal scenario for that to happen for you?
Well, ideally, I think we got to be up 2 goals. But I've always said that I'm not going to make many record books in the NHL, wins, losses, games played. Well, maybe losses, but games played, that stuff. But I said the short list I really want to get on is a goal scorer list, and it's not a long list of goalies. And hopefully someday they're past teams and trainers I've had, it's always been the biggest joke. Well, when are you going to score? When are you going to score? Hopefully it comes someday. That's the goal.
So Troy Murray, one of our analysts on the TV side, he's played in over 900 games. He's broadcast at least that number as well. You had him in stitches during the Edmonton game because at one point you were tapping your stick on the ice out of goal, and you had your glove up in the air at one time, and I mean he was cracking up just watching how much fun you had playing the game on the ice. And it was a big game too. I mean, we got a Connor McDavid in the house, like Edmonton's flying up and down the ice.
Yeah, they were.
When it comes to your style of play and your willingness to get out of the net and play the puck, who influenced you? Was it a coach? Was it another goalie whose style you try to emulate? What influencers would you say have made an impact on who you are as a goalie?
I think a lot of it's kind of just your personality and how you're wired, to be honest. But I think the instincts of handling the puck and playing the puck it goes back to youth hockey. And where I grew up in Minnesota, South St. Paul, I was fortunate I played player. Squirts and pewies every other game, which doesn't happen anymore at the youth age. Goalies got to commit at like mites now, which is just insane. And I was skating out until I was pewies. You're probably 12 years old. I was playing forward, and we were just talking about it the other day at one of the meals, and I was like, I liked actually playing forward way more than I like playing goalie. So the days that I had to strap on the goalie gear, I was like, God dang it, I wish I was playing out today. And eventually I chose goalie. I don't know what the decision I made at that time was for, but it worked out obviously. But I still think there's a little bit of forward or defense still up in my game for some reason. But I try to help out as much as I can with helping our D and not getting smoked into the glass when they have to go back and get pucks, and trying to get out of our zone fast and make a pass here or there to a forward. And it just goes back to having fun, because when they put the trapezoid in early in my pro career, I wasn't too happy with that.
Why not?
It limits you. I only have a certain amount of ice I can touch it. Probably a lot safer. I give a lot more goals going to the corner, but you only get a tiny area now to play the puck, and it's a little tougher. Marty Brodeur rule.
Well, for you've done so much, like you said, and being an undersized goaltender, having to be really aggressive. Playing in Minnesota in your career must have been pretty cool, being a native Minnesotan. I have to say, your accent caught me off guard early on in this podcast already when you said Colorado.
Yeah.
What was it like for you coming from Minnesota, playing college hockey in Minnesota, Duluth, marrying a Minnesota Miss Minnesota finalist, right? 103-point season, I read. Your wife, Felicia?
Yeah, we took a lot of, we gave them a lot of heat.
Very impressive, to say the least, from both of you. But to be able to play in your home state and have that experience, I would imagine that's probably at the top of your list in terms of accomplishments in your career.
Yeah, starting in San Jose, it was, you're playing your first stop in the NHL, you're like, this is super cool. We're living in California, weather's 70 degrees every day. Mm-hmm. And you don't have any family out there. And, it was cool. You're new to it. Like, it's the NHL. And, like we got now, a lot of young guys here. It's their first time in the NHL. It's fun to see their excitement to show up to the rink. It's something new. Mm-hmm. And then we got traded out of San Jose and ended up in Toronto for a brief stint, but got a call that summer from Chuck Fletcher, who was the GM at the time in Minnesota. And it was a no-brainer to go to Minnesota at that time. And the situation there was was great. Chuck was honest, told me what he wanted me to do, and I set my goal. Like, I want to play for the Wild. It was at the time. It was, you play for your hometown team. I think a lot of guys in the NHL would, really, really love to do it, and not many get to do it. But I was one of the fortunate ones, and at that time we had a couple kids, and to live at home, it was the first year there was kind of strange. You leave your own house and go to work. It was really weird, like to leave in the morning and be like, well, we'll see you guys back at home later on, because you always in hockey, pro hockey, you live like a second life, really, You have the summers where you're home with family, and then you leave for the other 6 months. So it was really special to, put on the Wild sweater every night. It's funny as it is, you're playing for so many people in that state that care about the game and the history of the sport there, and, you win, and all the people up in northern Minnesota in the little bars where there's 20 people sitting in there that are celebrating, or when you lose, those same people that are going to the bar are bitching about, this and that, and losing a game, and just like, there's just so much pride to play, not only, like you mentioned, Minnesota college hockey, but to have the opportunity to play for the NHL team is super cool.
Definitely.
We're getting choked up here on the Blackhawks Insider
Must have
podcast.
been a really good question.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a great answer.
That was a great answer.
Long-winded.
We'll give you some time
We'll take it.
to rehydrate here. But look, your career has taken lots of twists and turns. And you're coming off the best year of your career with Minnesota. And the pandemic's going on, and everyone's just trying to see, hey, can we play an NHL season? And you're diagnosed with myocarditis, the inflammation of the tissue around the heart. And it's not only career-threatening, but in a way it probably felt life-threatening as well. Now that you're on the other side of that, playing again on an NHL roster again, do you put less pressure on yourself now than maybe you did earlier in your career?
I wish I could say I did, because I'd sleep a little better, but no, it's a high pressure job. I want to be at my best every night, and I think everybody would say the same thing. I think I'm fortunate, obviously, to be where I am today, to get another opportunity after kind of how the last couple of years have went with being out, not playing games, and when I did return to play American League, and where you set up to succeed, where different situations, you're in an organization where they didn't have you in their future plans and all that stuff. Is just a lot of unknowns, to be honest, not only medically but hockey-wise. And to get a call this summer from Chicago that there was still someone that wanted me was pretty special. And I still remember getting that call from my agent at the time and saying, hey, there's a team that wants to sign you. And I said, what country are they in? So it was pretty special. And, from that day on, I got that call. My goal was to get in the best shape I could and prove that there's still a game left.
What does myocarditis feel like, and what sort of, mentally, physically, like what was it like going through that and trying to get back to your game, if that's even what was on your radar while you were going through it for that long?
Yeah, so to answer what it feels like, you don't feel anything, to be honest. Like it's not like a broken arm, it's not like a tweaked groin, it's not like concussion, any of that. Like I had no clue I had it.
Oh,
so
it's like preventative then, just not.
Well, yeah. So I got. I don't want to say as funny as it sounds, but it was when we were getting ramped up for that COVID shortened year. In order to get back into facilities, you had to test for COVID, and so I went and tested on a Friday in the morning, and then we jumped in our car and we were going to a friend's cabin, and we're driving up there, and we had like 2 of their kids in our car. They had a couple of our kids in their car, so we were just keep the kids busy, and we had like 2-hour drive up to the cabin. I get a call like halfway there from our team doctor. I'm like, what the? And he's like, hey, Al, I just want to let you know you're positive for COVID. And at that time, like, it was still early on a little bit.
Yeah.
And I turned to my wife, I'm like, well, what do we do?
Right.
And so I put my mask on. She put your mask on. We're all masked up in the car. Like, this is so weird. And we're right behind our friends. And he calls. He's like, what are you guys doing wearing your mask back there? I'm like,
Surprise.
Dude, I just found out I got COVID, so let's pull over and get this figured out. And so we meet. We're pulling off on a ramp. And he's like, well, what do we do? I'm like, well, I think we probably turn around, right? And he's like, well, we've all been hanging together. So if we have COVID, we all got COVID. We might as well go. And
go to the cabin and quarantine together.
Yeah, we might as well just go to the cabin. We all got COVID anyway, so we turned around, we went back, and I ended up going to the rink the next few days and testing, and it came back negative, and I was like, well, let's get back into the rink. But, they were finding an athlete said they were having heart issues from COVID, so I had to pass all these heart tests, and one of the tests found out that there was some swelling going on in my heart, and so we went and got an MRI done, and sure enough, there was an issue with my heart, and it was still so early with the diagnosis of this stuff. It was like, well, don't get your heart rate over 120, just sit and do nothing for 2 weeks. And for me, if anybody knows me, I can't sit anyway. Like, this is hard for me to sit here. We had the rink up in the winter, and I was out skating with the kids, and my wife was like, you can't get your heart up, but it was so strange being told you can't do anything. It's like you're not wired that way. And so I sat there for weeks just doing nothing really, just being a dad sitting at home, and I could go back and test, and I think it was 2 or 3 months later I had to go back and see if the swelling was down, and lucky enough it was, and started getting ramped back up, and even that was a slow process. Like you get your heart rate up to 130, then you go to 140, 150, and you don't know, if I get over that, what's going to happen? Are you going to collapse, or
Yeah.
So there's a constant trainer with me, and eventually made my way back, and and then I ended up in Edmonton.
What a treat.
Yeah.
Was there ever a moment, so when all is said and done, you've played one NHL game in 2 seasons going into this current one. Was there ever a moment of doubt along the way where you just were wondering, am I going to be able to play hockey again?
Yeah, there was. I didn't know if I'd ever get back to who I was before, health-wise. There was a lot of question marks, and who's going to give you a chance? Where are you going to go? Obviously, I had a year left on my contract. What was their plan? I was started when I returned to play. I went back to Bakersfield American League, and I was really lucky to go there because they had an unbelievable group of guys, and not only that, they had a coach I was familiar with, Jay Woodcroft, who's coaching the Edmonton Oilers now. He was Bakersfield's head coach at the time, and I had Jay as an assistant early in my career at San Jose, and he was great to me. He sat me down, talked about a plan, showed me around town, made the transition back to the game really easy. Well, I shouldn't say easy because it wasn't, but a lot more simple.
Yes.
And it was. I was lucky to have him there, and not only that, but the group there in Bakersfield was awesome. I mean, we had a ton of fun. It was a good place to start, I think, for me, and I enjoyed it. I got that spark back. I think that I'm I do love this, and I want to get back to where I have been. And I think that coming back and talking with family, talking with my agent, other people that have actually been through this. I was fortunate to talk to people that have been through some health issues that have played in the NHL, and I got a ton of information. The only way to really go test it, if I could do it again, was go and do it.
Yeah.
Go play. Because you're never going to get an answer if you don't try. And it turned out to be great. Played and got into some games. Got that smile back. Got back on the schedule. Got around a group of guys, which I love to do. And gave me the opportunity, this summer when Chicago called.
Well, we've loved watching you, and I know they say every day in the NHL is a great day, but compared to Edmonton, I will say Chicago is a pretty amazing city to come to, Original Six team. I know it's a rebuild, but for you, does it feel like a rebuild right now? Does the team and you kind of do a great job at tuning out that noise when it comes to the on-ice, off-ice success? And so far, it seems like you guys are doing great at doing that.
Yeah, I think it's a fun. I mean, what you want to say is a rebuild or what a retool or whatever it may be. I think there's guys that have been brought in, guys that have been here forever, that still have a ton to prove. And it's the NHL. You got unbelievable players on every team, and I think it goes back to if you have a good group that gets along, that has fun, and wants to play for the right reasons, you can find success, and I think you're finding that in this group right now that we're playing the right way, we're playing our systems, we're having fun, and the results are showing.
Yeah, as Caley said, it has been fun to watch. And look, as a goalie, your helmet is kind of a big part of your on-ice persona, and we understand that your kids helped create or at least draw the design on your helmet for the first month of the season. Looking ahead now to Native American Heritage Month, it sounds like you've had the opportunity to work with Ojibwe artist Patrick Hunter to design the art on your helmet for Native American Heritage Month. Can you give us any kind of tips or some insight on what the artwork is going to look like and just how that process has gone about?
Yeah, so I was lucky enough to talk to him. He's out of Toronto, and he called one day to just kind of pick my brain on stuff I enjoy, like what I enjoy doing away from the rink. And
cool.
Being from Minnesota, I obviously love the outdoors. I love fishing. I like hunting. Hunting season's obviously right now back home in Minnesota. But like golf, any of that stuff, anything outdoors in the summer. But I think for him, he took, like the fishing, the water, the outdoors type of stuff and kind of, implemented it into the design of the helmet. I've seen it looks really cool. It's pretty simple. It's a white background with a lot of red and actually a red mask. So I've never had a red mask before, so it'll be pretty unique. And I'm looking forward to getting the physical product. And I think it showed up at the rink today. But I never got to see it. So
well, we're really looking forward to it. Just got to ask though, how are you able to be a hunter as a hockey player? Just because of the overlap in seasons.
So in Minnesota, bow opener is actually like middle September, so it's training.
Okay.
So I have shot a deer during training camp when I was in Minnesota. I think. You can either wake up early, depending on your schedule that day for training camp, if you're the late group, or you can go in the evening. But I've shot one on my property back home, and actually an old teammate, Niederreiter, came over to my property during training camp and shot one. We found time to do it, but I'm getting texts and calls now from friends and neighbors that are like, "Hey, is anybody sitting in your stand this weekend? Because there's a chance I might be able to." So I'm getting a lot of. You should be able to sell it.
You can Airbnb your deer stand.
Yeah, it's still sitting there, and I check the trail cams every day, and they're like, "Well, what time are the deer moving? Are they coming in the morning or at night?" It's funny, but. Yeah, we got a good group of friends that we live by back home, so it's constant back and forth. This guy showed up on my property last night, and it's still going on. I'm like, man, I'm not there, so go down there and sit there.
So do you have a big freezer then?
I don't. But one of our friends, his father lives kitty corner from us, and he's got like a industrial size freezer.
Oh, there you go.
They turn on this time of year.
Nice.
So.
You like venison, Chris?
I do. I love venison. I've got growing up in Wisconsin. We've got a lot of deer hunters in the family. Got some relatives on a muskie fishing tournament this weekend. So definitely feel like there's some good synergy between Minnesota and Wisconsin culturally. But I got to ask, I know you went to South St. Paul High School, and they're the Packers.
Yeah.
How is that possible that Minnesota high school's got the nickname Packers?
Well, obviously there's only one Packer we care about in Minnesota, and it's the South St. Paul Packers. But the Green Bay team we don't care about.
Plug your ears, Chris.
Yeah. I was assuming you were a Vikings fan, and I don't have any. I can't talk trash. Given how week one went, and you guys are coming. Yeah, you guys are coming back. Yeah. So, anyways.
So we are the Packers because if you actually Google it or whatever search engine you use nowadays on the internet,
YouTube.
Yeah, it's YouTube or TikTok or something. South St. Paul is at one point I want to say it was the biggest, or I'm going to get scrutinized from people from South St. Paul. I should know that if it is the biggest or what number, but the meat packing plant in the country. Like Hormel and go down actually just by where the hockey rink was that I grew up by was the whole, it would be the east side of town on the river with stockyards. And so we have a bridge that comes over the Mississippi that comes into South St. Paul, and they call it the Stinky Bridge because when it would rain, it was windy, it stunk. The town did. And I mean, I don't know if it's sadly or not, but they're all gone now and they've moved, relocated. But I mean, at the time, the highest time of the stockyards, I mean, it was crazy on there. I remember being a kid driving by, and there was like a catwalk the whole length of what is Concord Street in South St. Paul, and it's just slowly gotten smaller and smaller and smaller as I've gotten older, and now it's pretty much completely gone.
Wow,
history.
It's a good history lesson.
It's. I wish I could have a lot more, and I wish I would listened more in like Minnesota history class in 8th grade and all that stuff.
It sounds like you're very well informed. I don't know. I wouldn't be too
Now
honest.
I'm ready to go back to my room and probably Google this.
So that is the search engine you use.
So we are the Packers because at one point we were I should say we because I didn't.
But
I wasn't at the soccer.
but the history of that part of town specifically. Okay, that's very cool.
Yeah, it's the history of the town of South St. Paul. Everybody says you're from South St. And a lot of people get ticked off too, and it bugged me a little bit. Like when you're younger, and there was a guy in the NHL from South St. Paul, and it said like St. Paul. It's like that. We're not St. Paul.
Okay,
we're South St. Paul. It's a different city. It's not just like the south side of St. Paul.
Gotcha.
We're our own suburb.
Okay.
And so it's a pride thing for South St. Paul, and if you're a Packer, you take a lot of pride in it.
Yeah, go Pack, go.
Let's do trivia or speed round.
We wanted to ask you, some Minnesota style questions, just about Minnesota stereotypes, basically, and just if you've heard of this or if you prefer this or that. So, do you want to start, Caley?
Yeah, I'll start. Okay, this is like one of the only ones I initially like caught on to because some of the other ones from Minnesota like I didn't understand. So I like this one because I very much like Prince. So this is one of the stereotypes. Do you like Prince?
I do.
I love Prince.
I love Prince, yeah, and I think the only person that loves Prince more is my middle daughter, Selena. She absolutely
Oh, really?
loves Prince, yeah.
How old's your daughter?
She's going to be 5 in 2 weeks.
So you obviously play a lot of that in the car on the way to practices.
Yeah, Grandma got her onto it, and
okay.
now she loves Prince. She loves dance, so she's a huge Prince fan.
I
just saw Prince that we were going to do family pictures actually down on Michigan Ave. They have a Prince store, and she saw it out the window. And
New Prince? That's
there's
impressive.
like a Prince store or something down there.
I've never seen it. I have a Prince.
Yeah, downtown,
Michigan Ave?
yes, on Michigan Ave,
She
yes.
saw it out the window. We were doing family pictures, and she was freaking out. So we got to bring her there now, I guess.
Yeah.
It's like a Prince museum, for lack of a better term, but it's like
okay.
the Prince experience.
Yeah.
Well, if you go, you gotta let me know how
Oh,
it is.
I do.
But-
Yeah, I'm a Prince fan. Yeah.
So
Okay, good.
what about? First of all, do you drink coffee?
I actually don't.
You don't? Okay.
Even
Are you a
with
Caribou coffee
three
fan?
kids?
Coffee. I love coffee, and I love the taste of it. And it's crazy. I drink decaf. I don't need the caffeine.
Sure.
Believe it or not.
Kaylee and I will take all the caffeine.
Chris and I are
for
like
you.
3 or
It's
4
fine.
cups a day now.
Brother is like, he'll sit there. We'll be on vacation. It's like 9:00 at night, and he's got a pot of coffee brewing.
I usually cut
hardcore.
off
That's
around like
hardcore.
4, but
Caffeine like super like
Jittery?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do love the taste. Like at night, I'll have a pot of decaf, or not
Okay.
a pot, but a cup. you
Yeah.
know. I love the taste of it. I wish I could drink it like as much as my brother, just all day.
yeah.
You know.
Well, I
Is
feel you.
Caribou the big?
In
Do you like it in Minnesota?
yeah. Caribou, yeah.
Not Starbucks, Caribou.
Yeah.
Okay. What about shout out to
out
Caribou.
Caribou.
Caribou's great. I know you big hunter, big fisherman. Do you like walleye to eat?
Love it.
Any other fish that you
I just
like?
lied to my kids last night. I bought a big bag of I think it was like cod from.
Oh, did you tell them?
Costco.
You told them it was walleye?
Do fish because I wanted to try to get away from chicken nuggets and chicken noodle soup. I was like, Uncle Brian set us down some walleye and breaded it. It's frozen. It's the same stuff we eat in the summer all the time because our kids love it in the summer, right? So I threw it in the air fryer and then they take one bite. They're like, "This isn't it. This stuff's." I tried.
They've got good taste. It sounds like they know what fresh caught fish. Yeah, they do.
Okay.
I screwed that one up.
Sorry, it's my turn. Sorry.
Maybe it's contagious. I don't know.
I hope not. Got a big game tomorrow.
So all good on my end. Yeah.
Do you say ufta in your everyday vocabulary?
Oofta.
Oh, oofta. Sorry. Oofta. Is that a Minnesota accent? Or was oofta?
Oofta. I don't. I think it's probably a little bit older generation.
Do you take a very long time to say goodbye?
It's funny you say that. My family, like the Stalock side, real quick.
Real quick.
Real quick. Like goodbye, maybe a handshake.
Just ready to go.
Yeah, and then if we go to my wife's family, and she's gonna kill me for this, but it's like it's hot.
30-minute long.
Hugs, kisses, like, and we're gonna see them tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I always give her crap. They're her side for that, but no, it's funny how you know, it can be so different where it's just real
My
quick,
side's the
like,
same. My
see you
dad's
later,
side is
a wave and a
barely a
and a
wave.
handshake, and then
Yep.
and then the other side's hugs and see you tomorrow.
Yep.
You know,
Same thing on my side.
What is a Juicy Lucy?
it's a burger with cheese stuffed inside the beef.
Oh, wow.
So,
Okay, that sounds really good.
Yeah. So when we go, you've never had one?
I've never had one.
Oh wow. Yeah. So you just got to be careful because if you bite into it, that cheese can be really hot.
Okay.
And burn your mouth.
Good to know.
But yeah, it's a great burger. They got a bunch of them downtown St. Paul when,
Okay.
when we're down there that you can try some spots. But
Is there a go-to in particular, that go-to place to get a Juicy Lucy burger that you recommend?
Bennett's Chop and Rail House. It's a UMD Bulldogs bar.
Okay, your alma mater?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. You might see a Stalock jersey hanging up there too.
Okay, cool. Is there a Stalock burger on the menu by any chance?
Not yet, because
Okay.
not yet. But we got to talk to Joe about it. They're actually opening up a new location, so in Wisconsin,
Okay, across the border.
in Hudson. So yeah.
Okay, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Border town, yeah. What would you put on your Stalock burger?
If I had the
Toppings.
ideal Juicy Lucy, it'd be pepper jack cheese. It'd be stuffed with pepper jack cheese. Is it summer or winter? Like during the season or? not in the season?
I'm fascinated that there is a difference between a summer burger and a winter burger.
We didn't know summer diet and winter diet.
Oh,
I'd say more so.
well, let's
summer.
go
I'm
summer
going all
diet.
out.
Go big or go
it's
home,
July
yeah.
4th. Say it's July 4th. I'm probably doing a double patty with pepper jack and inside with bacon, lettuce, and then ketchup and mustard. I'm so simple with that stuff.
That's
like,
so- that's
Same.
great.
stand tomatoes and
Me too.
onions I can't do.
Yeah, me too.
So I'm just, the beef, the cheese, the bacon, and lettuce.
Also, if we're talking about like July 4th and your summer diet, or a Minnesotan's kind of summer diet, a bootlegger, is that like a cocktail that a lot of people in Minnesota have?
Yeah, bootleggers, it is a cocktail. I see a lot of guys drinking it on the golf course. Like it must be refreshing. I'm not a huge cocktail guy, and I just like I'll drink a beer,
Yeah.
Like, cocktails, you got to take out like 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 ingredients just to make one. You got to muddle stuff and
What's the beer then?
mix it up. Summer or winter?
What's
No,
a good,
I'm just kidding.
What's a good Minnesota beer? Like
They got McGolden Light,
Okay.
so that's a huge like Minnesota beer.
Okay.
But like we got some really good breweries there. Summit's been around forever. Summit's got a good thing going. There's a Mexican honey light beer that I really like, and I feel bad that I'm forgetting what the brewery is, but that's a really good beer. Otherwise, just something simple as a Coors Light, you
Sure.
know. And I always give crap to my wife or whoever, but I'll go to the fridge and grab a beer, and she's got to grab like 15 different things, or be at the grocery store and just to get like a cocktail. It's like 3 ounces of fluid,
Yeah. So yeah, keep it simple. I think is there's definitely something
mine's
to be
already
said
made.
for that.
It's in
Yeah,
a can. You just have to crack the top. And
just as long as it's cold.
that's a huge
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Are we missing anything on the Minnesota stereotypes list? I discarded mine.
I don't think we're missing anything. I
Okay.
think we pretty much got everything. We were going to get a little bit into your family now, if that's okay. Felicia, your wife, and you have 3 kids. I have 2. So my question off the bat, no caffeine, but what's the biggest transition from 2 to 3 kids for you? And what are all your? Is it 3 girls?
No, a boy. We have a boy and 2 girls.
Okay.
The biggest transition. I think it's having zone coverage now and not being one-on-one. I think is tough.
You're outnumbered.
It's hard.
Yeah, you
I grew up with 2. She grew up with 3. So, for me, it's a little bit new. But I think not being able to, be hands-on with all of them is tough, and especially at a younger age where they're not able to kind of play with each other and keep each other entertained. And our youngest is almost there. She just turned 2 last month, so she's at the point where she's hopefully we'll be out of diapers here soon.
Yeah.
She'll be talking, communicating more, and stop with the crying. And
Yeah, the power struggles.
yes,
Every
yeah.
day is a new day with those.
and keeping up with her sister, and she's not quite there yet. So it's we're almost over the hill, I think, at that stage.
No pressure, but are they all like Felicia played college hockey? Are they going to be hockey players? Are you guys going to coach them? What's
So our boy loves hockey, and he loves he loves watching like YouTube clips of stuff like. I mean, Kane, the breakaway goals that Kane has, McDavid now, like.
Who's his favorite player besides you?
Right now, today, I'd probably have to ask him. It changes day to day with him. Whoever he watched last night on a highlight, whether it was on NHL Network or on his YouTube or whatever, but he enjoys it. Our daughter just did start skating. She likes it, I think, just because we go to the rink every day with our boy, and she sees that. But she loves dance, and I don't know if it's fortunate for me or unfortunate for me, but she's already a pretty good dancer, and I'm like, oh God, I don't know if this is good or not, but she loves it, and she's going to dance already, so it's awesome, and it's something different, like I'm going to a dance show, last summer. I'm like, I never thought I'd be sitting here. And
is it hip hop or ballet?
No, it was ballet.
Ballet.
Yeah. But I think she does want to start doing some like hip hop stuff, which I think she'd really enjoy because like a Prince song comes on or one of the newest.
Yeah, you
top
can't do
40 songs.
Prince.
She starts dancing, or like she's at the rink, and my wife will send me a video after the game, and she's just sitting in her seat, like going to town, like no one's watching. I'm like, oh my God, you go, girl.
I love that.
Yeah,
we gotta get a video one day of her at the rink with you.
Yeah, she's got a good personality.
Glad to hear that everyone's doing well. It sounds like in the family. That's awesome. Listen, this has been great. Thank you so much for doing this with us. We are again taping this in Buffalo. Home of Buffalo Wings, and we've got some wings here from Duff's, one of the many famous wing institutions in Buffalo. Would you like to try some?
That's it.
Okay, we can, you can watch too if, Caley and I. We did get some hot wings, but we've got some mild wings as well. So whatever kind of your preference is. So we tried to have kind of an array.
Tricks or is it
No tricks.
No tricks here.
No tricks.
I don't think management
That's
would be
medium.
pumped if we tricked you into.
so medium?
And here's the thing. So this is barbecue. So the medium is extra crispy. You can get them done extra crispy. The barbecue's got extra sauce on it.
My thoughts are barbecue's kind of a waste of a wing.
You think so?
Oh.
That's controversial.
I just like barbecue sauce. I like buffalo flavor more than.
I like barbecue more. I'm not a spicy person, so I've never been into buffalo that much.
So these are just the basic mild wings right here, and then
those look dry.
Well, the last thing they do look dry,
That's great for Duff's.
For Duff's, yeah. But and then we do have ranch in a bag.
That's the sneakiest part of I think wings is celery is really good.
I won't argue with you about that one bit. And it's a good palate cleanser as well.
Yeah. Bring my water up. Just
so in case we have a cough attack.
Yes.
So then, because the last thing we ordered.
Labeled ranch or blue cheese?
They're all ranch.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I'm not a blue cheese.
You're not a blue cheese guy? Okay. There are the veggies. Now the last thing is the hottest is death. That's the hottest one on the menu. And again, I wanted to try it. Caley, I think, is second guessing her.
Can you smell them?
Sure. Let me know if it smells like death.
Is that death?
That's death.
I mean, it bites the nose a little bit.
Does it?
Yeah.
So
Where are we start?
it's totally up to you.
Oh, I think this is mild.
What's that?
I'm gonna put your mic on a stand while you're doing
Which,
it, just so you can still hear.
Thank you,
Which
Annie.
which wings do you like better? Do you like the?
I like dry rub typically.
You like those ones better or the flat ones?
Oh, I like the crunchy, not the wing, the
drummies or
drum.
the- yeah.
I think the drum is better, right?
I think it is too.
Yeah, so I would do a drum.
Okay, so we'll start at the dry rub, huh?
Yeah.
This is just mild.
This is just mild. Yeah.
Do you want one of these?
That's okay. I'm not a rancher. Are you?
I don't know. These look dry.
You are today.
You can hear it.
Are these spicy, Chris, or are these regular?
This is just mild. There's crispy. There's
I actually prefer no
nothing,
sauce.
there's nothing to worry about with these.
I
Am
mean,
I the
these are
first
good.
one that's been eating on podcast?
You are.
Yeah,
I'm gonna hear about that.
especially with Luke Richardson working out right around the corner.
Yeah, you walk past your coach who's on the bike.
I was gonna say, yeah. How about Coach? Still skates with the boys at practice. I mean, that's pretty
awesome.
inspiring,
Yeah.
huh? So I mean, this is just a good kind of like get your foot in the door.
This
I
is
think.
my favorite. I feel like I didn't
your
really
first-
experiment with sauces growing up, and I prefer the dry rub.
I didn't realize how hungry I was.
Eat up.
I don't know.
I mean,
You clean them too, man. Good work.
well, I mean,
This is the wing, right?
it's pretty good flavor.
Yeah, as opposed to the drummy.
I think the wing's good.
Crunchy. I think Duff's is doing something right with that one.
That's like,
Did Duff's not give us napkins?
Did Chris not give us napkins?
hold on one sec.
Go ask Luke for a towel.
Surely be really interested in what we're doing right now.
Do
Do you think he would try one or no? Is he pretty healthy too? With his diet? Thank you.
So is the,
So out of 10, what would you do?
Like,
For dry rub, not a saucy person, but
I like those.
I do too.
They're not too messy, and I'm a messy eater, especially with
Yeah.
wings. It's simple but good.
Yep.
Like,
I like the crispiness. That's kind of a new thing for me. I think that's what makes the buffalo wing a little unique. Is like the crisp factor. So is the barbecue a total no?
no, it's a go, but I just like it's the last thing I'd order off a wing menu.
Okay.
Flavors.
All right. Well, I mean,
Yeah, I'll eat it.
All right,
I know
all right.
exactly what it's gonna taste like.
here, Caley. There's a drummy that's got your name on it.
Yeah.
If
Oh,
you'd
is
like.
there?
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, that's probably the
Big ol'
biggest
boy.
biggest one we have in here.
Yeah.
Thank you. Extra saucy.
You gonna even try one of these?
I will. Yeah, I like a good.
I know exactly
Good
what it's gonna
stuff
taste
together.
like.
This is messy.
Yeah. See, it's
Do not zoom in on me.
it's like
This is good barbecue though. I think.
It's like a glorified ketchup, isn't it?
I think this is definitely ketchup based. I think you're right.
You're right. Good palate.
It's a great palate.
It's a great palate.
You know, it's funny. I had a well,
I don't think I can believe
I shouldn't talk with my mouth full of food, but an old teammate of mine who played in Buffalo came out with his own sauce while he played here. Tyler Ennis sells it in stores called Enzo sauce.
I like the
Barbecue?
name.
Yeah. Well, so
Or what is it?
it's really controversial. He won't tell you what's in it.
Okay, so it's like a secret sauce kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he'd be a guy that he could probably give us a big history of the wings here in Buffalo, kind of like I gave you the Stockyards and South St. Paul.
Next
Is
time
he a
we're
Buffalo
here,
guy?
we'll have to get him over here.
No, he played here.
Okay.
Edmonton guy. But he played here for a while.
This might take me 30 minutes, so I'm gonna.
Yeah, you can wrap it.
Dump and change.
It's the barbecue one.
Yeah.
That was wasted. Well, I shouldn't say it.
No. Hey, listen, we want honesty on the
I'm gonna
Blackhawks
cleanse my
Insider
palate after
podcast.
that because
Get ready for a new one.
yeah, I want to wash away that barbecue. Very new.
I heard you were actually a really good athlete in high school, like 3 sports, and is that true?
Well, yeah, I played 3 sports.
Okay.
What else did you play?
I played football and baseball.
Oh yeah, your dad was a football player, right?
Yeah.
In college.
How do we know all this?
Well, I mean,
Internet?
Internet, the YouTube.
the coaching staff has been talking about your athleticism, and your buddy Ryan, who's the color analyst for the Minnesota Wild, said that you were a 3-sport athlete in high school. So, and he wasn't chirping you either. He was serious.
A lot of the stuff he says, especially if it's about me, I believe about a quarter of it.
What was it? Were you the quarterback?
No, corner. And believe it or not, I was the long snapper too.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a
Why-
specialty
why,
position.
why wouldn't we believe that?
Because I was probably like 160 pounds in high school, and it's like it's the guy who snaps the ball on special teams to like the punter. So I just get ran over every time. I wasn't much of a blocker.
What about-
I was the only one that could really do it, so I had to do it.
What about field goals or point after it tries? Would you do the long snapping for that?
I would.
Because
Yeah,
you got to be really accurate with that.
Yeah.
Like-
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was fun because my brother was a soccer player, but he kicked for us for the football team. So they never played Friday nights, so he put on a football uniform and he was our place kicker.
Never practiced, just showed up Friday night. Yeah.
No, he would practice. Sometimes
Okay.
he'd come like Thursday before games or something. But yeah, he wasn't doing any tackling drills or any of that.
So many athletes in the Stalock.
You guys
family.
want to upgrade to medium here?
Well, what was this one? This was just.
That was just the mild. You can, I mean, knock them
No,
out, dude. If you like that one,
no,
like
no, I don't I think there's a drummy. Little
You
one.
guys keep giving
Little
me
one.
the. Yeah, this one's much. So the other one I couldn't finish. All right, this is medium.
This is medium.
There's a warning sign on the website with the
With medium?
medium and with hot.
I don't know why you warned somebody about medium. Come on now.
Chris is crazy.
You can see remnants.
I can smell it.
Yeah, you can see remnants of what looks to be Tabasco in there.
Is that a good thing?
I think this has got a really good flavor.
Or maybe a Frank's Red.
I love Frank's. Don't get
Which
me
I told my
wrong.
wife should be in every man's fridge, a bottle of Frank's Red.
It's hot.
So Caley, you know, how are you holding up? I know that.
Really? This is hot?
It's not bad though. I mean, considering it had a warning, I don't think you need to be warned. But
No.
I'm not a spicy gal, even though I have red hair now. Not usually into the hot stuff.
But,
This is good. I think this is like. What do you think of this level of heat?
so the weird thing is that it's cold, the wing, the touch, but it's hot after, you know. It's a cold wing.
We probably should have done this before, maybe keep them hot.
We did our best with DoorDash, but
Well, you guys did awesome. So,
Chris,
if that's
you-
medium, as of right now, I'm not like scared of death.
agreed.
The wing, the death wing.
Actually, I'm not
Agreed,
either. I was like
100%. I'm right there with
Googling
you.
about like what could happen if you go too.
Now, this could change. I could be regretting what I just said.
Yeah, no doubt. But I mean, you can only go with the information that you have on hand, and that's
I got none. I didn't do any research on this.
Chris, you
well,
were
but it's based
crushing
on
those
it's
wings.
based on trying the medium. You know that. He passed me a napkin.
So we went from mild to medium to we're going to death. How many steps were there? Like if you're on the website, Buffalo Wild Wings got 20 flavors. You know.
There's like 7 or 8.
yeah,
right?
8 to 10. You know, this one.
So we're skipping 8 to 10 levels to get to death.
No, we're skipping like 3. We're skipping like. There's a
There's
medium. hot.
flavors like there were different flavors with the
like
different levels.
Louisiana or
Yeah.
Cajun or.
Kind of.
There's a medium hot. Then there's just like a hot, and then there's death. It's like one up from hot. Yeah. So.
Should we
Let's
go?
go.
I mean, I'm down to give it a shot. I could, as you said, I could regret it later, but I'm down to.
Definitely
Down
less
to
worried.
clown.
I mean, like later, just what's going to take place later.
My taste buds are
I'm
going to
just
be
kidding. I know
regretting.
exactly what you're talking about.
At least since an off day.
Do you want to try one or no?
Yeah,
You
I'll
just,
try
like,
one.
Just like touch it, maybe.
I'll just sniff it.
There's
This one's hotter for sure, but
Which one do you want? Do you want to go with
I
like
want
the
one
big
that's
boy?
sitting on top of all the sauce, so then I can
Okay.
say like it's not that hot. Like, I don't know what you guys are crazy about.
Okay.
But you like heat? Like you want to try heat?
I wanted to try the heat. Like I feel like, look, there's a little bit of sauce on that now. That one's sitting on.
God, am I gonna regret this or no?
Well, we'll regret it together. I mean, misery loves company. So,
Right. Okay, well.
all right. Here's to
what do you
death.
say? Cheers.
Cheers.
Hasn't hit like my palate yet. It might be okay.
oh my gosh, it's different.
There it is.
Yeah,
It hits a little bit later,
it's cooking. It's like when you swallow it, that's when it really just like.
and I only have like 2 ounces of water.
I think I need my Gatorade. It's really hot.
We got celery. There's water in celery.
That's the hot that doesn't feel good at all.
Yeah, it's like
And it ruins the whole wing.
it's like. Cheers, finish the whole thing.
No, I still got a few bites left.
Chris, you're an animal.
It's like, why would you want to waste a meal on this? Like, people actually enjoy this.
Chris just finished it bone dry.
I mean, here's the thing. Like,
It doesn't hit you right away.
yeah.
No, it didn't, but it hits when it hits.
It's a delayed palate hit.
You know, I think it would, like, the more you eat, obviously, it's just going to compound the heat. So,
Yeah, it's everything's hot. in the
I
mouth.
can't talk. I have to get Gatorade really quick.
Caley's out.
Get this on camera. Where? Oh, you got Gatorade in here?
Chris hasn't had this, so you can sip his.
Yeah, you
Oh,
can.
that's fine.
Seems to be enjoying it, but my mouth is on fire.
I
It's unpleasant, I would say.
my lips are.
Numb. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Like, I always wonder, like, whenever the next time I get a head cold, which I mean, I hope never happens because colds stink,
Yeah.
but it would just flush everything.
Right.
Like, just sinuses drained.
I'd rather have wasabi to do that than what we just ate because it's just incinerating my tongue right now.
That is your tongue?
Yeah, is it not?
My
yours? I think
my
you're
lips.
sweating.
My lips.
Oh, you're sweating.
You're sweating a little
lot.
bit. You could.
I've had a meal. My wife made this meal this one time with like pepperoncinis in it. She didn't take the seeds out. And I used to shave my head. And I loved this meal. And I was so hungry that I just ate it. And I just had sweat pouring down.
Beads
my-
of sweat.
Chris, you
What?
look unfazed by this. Did
No,
you
I
not
mean
think
it like look like it's
My
roaring
lips are
right
hot.
now for
I'm
sure.
gonna go into one of these.
Like
Yeah, like my tongue and. Oh.
don't touch your eyes. Yeah, you cooling down now with like a medium?
Mm-hmm.
That's smart. There's another barbecue, Caley, if you want to.
I'm gonna reset.
I
my
can't
palate.
eat right now. I'm upset about the way my lips and my tongue feel. I feel like it ruined my evening.
Can you zoom in? Like, is there sweat piling
Oh,
up
yeah.
on my forehead?
Not piling, but
I got a little bit like on my face, and it's like burning my it's like burning my face.
that is really hot.
Come on.
Anybody
Then-
else want to try?
Ben, you said you would, Annie?
I kind of want to.
I think you should.
I'm worried I'm going to regret it now.
No, you
Wow.
won't. You won't.
Okay, we already said this.
Is that the medium?
There's nothing to do.
Ben,
Yeah.
Are you going to try it?
there's only 2 left for you 2.
My fucking lips are like.
How much did you eat?
I don't think I've ever felt like that. Like they're like, I don't know. It's a weird feeling.
The inside of my mouth. It's not like my lips so much because I try not to.
I look great.
Let's quickly
like having an allergic reaction.
let's quickly wrap the show and
Okay.
and thank Alex for doing this. We really appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed the wings.
Thank you.
We'd love to have you on for another taste test at some point down the road of something.
Hey, Juicy Lucy.
Juicy Lucy, that would be great. Maybe when we do when we play the Wild, you can
I love
you
that.
can take us to your UMD bar. That would be great. So, for Alex and Caley and our significantly deteriorated taste buds, I'm Chris. Thanks for watching the Blackhawks Insiders podcast. Time now for Line Change, our betting segment on the Blackhawks Insider podcast with my man Joe Brand of WGN Radio. Joe, what's up? How you doing?
What's going on, Chris? It's been a fun couple of weeks for you on the calls, huh?
Yeah, and I've had a lot of time and a lot of chances to practice my goal call. The Blackhawks offense, I think, has been a pleasant surprise this season. They had a streak of 5 games with at least 4 goals scored at one point. What sort of trends are you noticing on the sportsbook side?
Glad you brought that up, Chris. Yes, the Blackhawks have hit the over 7 out of 9 games this year with an over-under of 6.5 goals. Last couple of games especially. The only 2 games they didn't hit the over, second game of the year in Vegas, a 1-0 loss, and then on October 25th against Florida when they beat the Panthers 4-2. I mean, who would have expected the Florida Panthers to only score 2 goals in that game? But a lot of offense coming from the Blackhawks. They have been bailed out, hitting the over on a couple of overtimes lately, but as long as they continue this momentum offensively, and let's face it, they are figuring out a few things defensively, I do think that hitting the over might be the better bet for you in terms of the over-under of 6.5 goals. And the other thing to point out, Chris, they've been playing competitive. They are really good against the spread early on. They're 8-1. The only time they didn't cover the spread was the opener against the Colorado Avalanche, and obviously Colorado, a very heavy team. I wouldn't mind betting the Hawks to cover once again at home against the LA Kings, but Winnipeg's gotten off to a good start. So looking ahead to Saturday's game, it might depend on how their effort is against the Kings, how it was against the New York Islanders to determine whether or not to go with them against the spread against Winnipeg on the road.
So we're roughly 10 games into the season, and you look at the standings, and it feels like just about everybody's got the same record or the same number of points or close to it. Are you seeing any kind of trends emerge when it comes to conference or division winners at this early portion of the season?
Well, there's been a couple of surprises, and I don't know if I want to call them a complete surprise in the Boston Bruins, but the way the start that they have gotten off to has been very impressive. At the beginning of the year, Chris, they were plus 1,000 to win the Atlantic. They're now all the way down to plus 180. So if you took them early on, you could already find a profit cashing out on that. I mean, that's what you're going to get when you have an 8-1 record with a goal differential of plus 18. Some of the other teams we were looking at, the New York Rangers, have stayed consistent at plus 350. That seems fairly right. Got off to a good start, leveled out a little bit. Teams that actually went down were the Florida Panthers and the Tampa Bay Lightning, those two Florida teams that have always been kind of heavily favorited. But the other team to keep an eye out for are the Calgary Flames. Calgary was a team I brought up the first time we did this, Chris. They started this year, I'm trying to find it now. There we go. They started this year at plus 700 to win the Western Conference. They've already moved all the way down to plus 490. That's what a 5-2-0 record's going to get you. I had mentioned that Jonathan Huberdeau and Nazem Kadri would be good additions to this team. They've already combined for 14 points. Daryl Sutter's done a fantastic job already in his second year. So if you took Calgary at plus 700 at the beginning of the year to win the Western Conference, you'd already be able to cash out on a profit, although I do understand why it might be enticing to just kind of ride that a little bit longer, see how far it goes. And I'm not going to be all positive with these things. I'll admit when I've been wrong. Minnesota, I said, might be a good idea to take for winning the Central at the beginning of the year because of the start of their season. Clearly, that has not panned out. They have already moved from plus 400 to win the Central to plus 550. So I've actually gotten a little bit more of a profit since the last time we talked 2 weeks ago. But if you took Minnesota to take the division, you might as well ride it out, see what happens. They have gotten a little bit better, but obviously not as dominant as they would have hoped to.
Joe Brand, he is humble in victory and gracious in defeat. Thanks, Joe. We really appreciate it.
Hey, no problem. Just trying to be honest, Chris. Appreciate you having me.
A reminder, you can listen to Joe on Blackhawks pregame and postgame on WGN AM 720. You can also listen to Joe on Blackhawks Live every Monday at 7 p.m. on WGN Radio.
That will do it for this week's special episode. A big thank you to Alex Stalock for joining us today and to our good friend Joe Brand as well. And thank you as well to Brad Dollar and Southside Jake for mixing our music you've heard throughout the show. For Chris Vosters, Caley, Chelios, and Colby Cohen, I'm Carter Baum. We'll see you next time on Blackhawks Insider, presented by Chevy Drive Chicago. Drive what Kane and Taves drive.